All right, we were about to get started. Welcome in, Chalk. Who else we got in here? Nathan, Super Pac, Ferox, McCry, and Apocalypse. You are not matched yet. Hopefully, we'll have some stragglers in here. Hopefully, we can get you a match or have a repeat if there is nobody else that shows up. But it seems like we have a full house tonight. A lot of matches to play, so we're about to get started. If you are TiVo or Rhythm, which I believe they are both joining the lobby, once you two are ready, I am ready. And who am I? I'm Austin from Enhance. Hope everyone's doing well, ready for the weekend. Hope you all have some fun games to play, including the wonderful Tetris Effect Connected, obviously. And yeah. Welcome in Coffee and Tetris. And it looks like both players ooh, we have a quest player. I didn't realize Rhythm was on the quest. Very nice. But when you two are ready, I am ready. We're going to be playing some zone battle tonight. If you are new to the community or would like to play, be sure to join the Discord at discord.gg/enhance. And it should show that our event is live currently. When you go to the Discord, there should be a big green button. And they're hopping into it. Let's just get right into it. That's what I like to see. All right, so we have TiVo versus Rhythm to kick off today's stream for some zone battle action. And if you have any questions about this game mode in particular, of course, I'll be talking about it. I'll bring up some of the mechanics, but do not be shy. That's part of the goal here, is to learn more about the game mode. There's a lot of subtle things in zone battle that new players, or even experienced players, sometimes will be like, I did not know. I've been playing for years and didn't realize that was a thing. So, yeah, do not be shy here in the chat. And we have plenty of experienced players willing to answer questions as well. But we got Benji on the right, or on the left, excuse me, who is also Rhythm in our Discord, and we have TiVo on the right. And you can see by the quest, the VR headset emoji next to Ben's name there, means that they are playing on the meta quest. So we got someone fully immersed with all particle effects going around them, playing against TiVo here. And typically it'll be gold versus blue if they are using the default Tetramino skin. But TiVo opted for the traditional skin, which is a choice you can make in the gameplay options if you want to have the traditional Tetris pieces. Or if you're somebody that likes to read ahead and look at the color of the pieces, right? But yeah, Benji looking like they have a full zone going here. They did start from the bottom. Generally, I would recommend having a Tetris or something, at least a Tetris. The more the merrier, right? If you can combo, when you start that zone, you can be sure to use, make the most of your zone meter. For example, Benji's about to get a wonderful 11 lines here, but imagine you started that with 2 Tetrises, right? That would be an instant 8 lines that you'd have. So sometimes you want to accept some of the attacks from your opponent. They'll send you free ammunition to use during your zone attack. Yes, we got some haircut combos. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Did I say combos? I meant comments. Haircut combos. We got a 20 haircut combo. Is stream lagging for anybody else? It should be good. I see 0 dropped frames. It should be good. It could be a Twitch or YouTube thing as well. It looks like TiVo is going to succumb to the pressure there. From pretty even. I think Benji just managed to down stack a little more, but we can see very similar stats. So TiVo definitely has what it takes to match Benji here. And if we have any quick matches, we'll run it back. So usually the cutoff's around 5 minutes. If we have any matches that are too short, stick around and we'll run it back, because we're here to have fun, chill out with the community, get you some airtime, right? Not so much like win or lose. Welcome in, Light Rod. Yeah, it should be good on our end. It is at a higher bitrate. I tend to put it at a higher bitrate just because of there's so many effects in Tetris Effect where if I leave it low, it's just going to look like a potato, right? Potato quality. So that could also lean into more buffering if you have a slow connection. All right, so both players entered the zone here. I think TiVo entered a little sooner. Going to get 5 lines here. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get to that Tetris well, waiting in column 3, right? But we'll see if we can get another... Yeah, TiVo should be fine here, and has a quarter zone to boot, so should be able to downstack. I like this, actually, using that quarter zone. If TiVo can get the Tetris there, very nice. It should have a bonus attached to it. And TiVo fires back quickly. However, fired back, and earlier on in the match, players will have what's called clean garbage. So the attacks that are being sent to you is referred to as garbage. On TiVo's side, it is represented as gray blocks. On Benji's side, it is the sky blue, iridescent-looking blocks. And you can block that garbage from appearing on your side if you attack simultaneously. TiVo's in some trouble. We'll see if TiVo can manage to downstack. Does get a quarter zone. It's tough to make decisions when you're up this high. But looking, enters a zone here. Oh, so close. Needs to be able to get that long bar up. Used IRS, actually. Very nice. I don't think I've seen TiVo IRS too often. I know TiVo has been discussing using IRS in the Discord. Fortunately, some good pressure there. Yeah, but Benji stepped it up that round. Put up their attack by about almost 10 line attack per minute. And yeah, good game. I think we can call it there. TiVo and Benji, feel free to stick around. We'll probably have some stragglers in here, and we can maybe get you in another match. But yeah, thanks for kicking us off. TiVo, as always, a regular in our community showcase. Happy to have you once again. And Benji taking the dub there. In VR action. Rhythm, if you're in the Discord, feel free to share, or in the Twitch chat if you are using... what kind of control you use? I know a lot of MetaQuest players will use like Xbox controls. When I play on the Quest, I try to use the native, just for the challenge of it, use the native controls. And I find it difficult, but I know some players are very fast with the native controls, which is quite impressive. MetaQuest 2 with the full VR control is nice. Yeah, you have to get that good joystick finesse, right? Which I think, I have been practicing joystick play just out of curiosity, because we have so many of our top players. Our top player does use a joystick, right, to move the pieces left and right. And it does feel very nice to hard drop. When you press up, if you use the up, you can like quickly flick the hard drops, right? So I thought that was interesting. It feels a little less binary than when you use a D-pad. But all right, so up next, we're going to have PH and Shock make your way to the lobby. PH is already in here. And Shock, I know Shock was having some buffering happening, but there we go, Shock's in here. When you two are ready, I'm ready. Oh, the relax soundtrack. All right. I love it. Getting right into it here. I still need to make a community showcase leaderboard for who's attended the most showcases. I feel like Shock has to be very close, if not number 1. Always happy to have our repeat players. We can build a narrative over time the more you attend. And it's always nice to see, we do have players that improve over time, right? So 100%, we've seen a lot of improvement from our players. And hopefully this showcase gives you some motivation to improve. All right, so Shock on the left. I tend to think of Shock as really strong with conservative. Oh, I think PH greeted a little hard there. Did have some zone meter, but maybe was trying to get a big combo or something, coupled with some misdrops, so maybe some slight panic there. But Shock takes a quick game 1. But I think these players should be even skill level if PH can clean up the gameplay a little bit here. But yeah, Shock does a great job of maintaining just a good old simple 0-9 well, where you have that open well on the right for Tetrises. which is I of course recommend that to everybody. Of course, there's a lot of fun in building T-spins and stuff like that. But if you are new, and even just to get the feel of like the macro of a back and forth, like tennis-like vibe that you get with Zone Battle, I just recommend keeping that simple. Go for the Tetrises, and then you can expand upon that when you need to build on your tech tree a little bit in order to build more attack power. And we had a quick top out there from PH. We can just run that back. Run it back. Oh, no, not running it back. All right, looks like we had a disconnect there. But PH, if you are listening, we can definitely do one more. Welcome in Aurora on YouTube and Neo. Oh, Neo explaining initial rotation system. What is IRS? Thank you. And yes, we do have cross chat between YouTube and Twitch. You know what? I should start dropping a link for those that are on their Discord so they can easily follow both. It's easier for me to follow both, or if we're on the scene, right? Yeah, PH, if you're in the Discord, you're welcome to have another match here with Shock. And Shock, if we have any stragglers, we can get you another match. But all right, who's up next? Oh, I see Vflyier in the Discord. Vflyier is a very good Puyo Puyo Tetris player, so welcome in. If I recall. I think I'm thinking of the right person. I think up next will be Aken versus Ocller, I believe. If PH wants to play again, we can... Okay. Shock, we can maybe get you another match. But yeah, Aken and Ocller, if you want to make your way to the lobby. Yeah, anyone have any fun weekend plans? And my number one question as a gamer is if anyone's playing any new games. I've been working through Blueprints, which has been really fun. As a puzzle gamer, not of just following block puzzles, but I love puzzle, point-and-click puzzles, or humanity puzzles even. Sokobons, any kind of puzzle. Anything that gets me thinking. So Blueprints has been great. It's quite unique. Apocalypse saying I'm looking forward to pushing myself and improving my skills. Love to see it. I can relate. I'm a very competitive gamer. Not so much like I've been playing competitive games for most of my life at this point. It's more so just the idea of improvement and practice. I don't really get too frustrated anymore. Frustration could be a good motivator, but yeah, I generally love to compete and improve. That's part of the fun, right? It's very rewarding when you do actually start to climb. What is up, Commodore Friday? Oh, shoot, I need to make a lobby. I forgot. Sorry, I need to make a lobby code. Okay. Sorry about that, Ferox. I'm just yapping over here. I forgot we're playing Tetris. But Aken and Ocller, yeah, it's in the Discord. Oh, misdropping. The thing about misdropping is, like, it's inevitable. The best players are going to misdrop. Of course, the more you play, the more consistent you'll be. You'll get a better hang of the control and stuff like that. But it's totally normal. I think the things to fixate on, because that'll get better with practice, right? I like to think more about the strategy of the game, and then when you start to grind, you're going to misdrop less, right? Even when you're playing, if you practice for weeks, have a tournament match or something like that, you're bound to misdrop. Just try not to get... It can be frustrating, obviously, but try not to dwell too much on it. Just move past it. Because, yeah, that's just going to naturally happen less as you improve. And then if you can fixate on things that are in your control, like your strategy, your stacking strategies, your ability to fire back, counterattack, stuff like that, good use of zone, those are more healthy things to improve on, or less frustrating, right? Looks like Ocller found their way in here, and then Aken. Looks like Aken might want to delay the match. Aken wants to play in VR on the PlayStation. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think we've really had anyone play PSVR 2. Not that I'm aware of on our community showcase. I should show up next community showcase with the PSVR 2 setup here. That might be kind of fun, actually, to watch in VR. Might be annoying as the viewer, but... But Aken, if you're able to play now, we can definitely get some VR action in the future. Or later tonight, if there's another match for you. Ferox, you can handle it. Yeah, Ferox is matchmaking right now. Now I can yap while Ferox is setting this up. Well, we might do the next match first, which would be MWD and Coffee and Tetris. MWD 765 and Coffee and Tetris, make your way to the lobby. Ocller, you're welcome to spectate. Throw some emojis in there if you want. Oh, I see. Okay. Nintendo Switch Online, the culprit. Alright, looks like Morg, aka Coffee and Tetris, is here, and then if MWD, I feel like that's a new player. They are on their way. Either new player or has not played in many showcases, so welcome in. And yeah, just as a reminder for any players or viewers just tuning in, this is open to all participants. Be sure to join the Discord at discord.gg/enhance, and you're welcome to get the spotlight. I'll yap about your zone battle match. Welcome in policy changes. I was discussing the strategy a little bit. Any homers? All right, looks like both players are in here. When you two are ready, I'm ready. Good luck, have fun. All right. Yeah, the thing about zone battle strategy is also just standard versus strategy. It might not be specific to zone battle, but I do mention things about counterattacking and whatnot, right? Which isn't, for experienced players, it might be more obvious, but a lot of players don't know even the simple things that we might take for granted if we play a lot, right? Or as Ferox says, since we play more. But yeah, starting out, here's some strategy for you, policy. Starting out, it's actually quite nice to accept attacks. Because look how clean the incoming lines are for MWD. That means free Tetrises. You don't even have to upstack those Tetrises if you're a slower player. If you are a slower player and your opponent sends attacks faster, you should not stress out too much in zone battle. Good counterattacking. I think we have some top players in chat, and hopefully they can back me up on this. But if you are playing a faster player, or sometimes you are the faster player and you're playing against somebody that is what is called plonking, which is playing slow but more efficient, utilizing your attacks against you, right? And I know I have lost to players that are much slower than me. It's not all about speed in zone battle. It's also about careful counterattacking, and with that counterattack, creating some sort of spike, whether it's like a T-spin, a double Tetris, a clean zone with it. If you are slower, try to use the incoming attacks, aka the garbage, against your opponent, which I think MWD did a little bit there, because we saw that MWD's board was pretty much full of golden shiny blocks, which MWD worked through during the zone and prior to the zone. Welcome in, Mario Expert. Ferox, you are welcome to join if you want. If you want to yap with me. I say the word yap a lot now. It's a great word. Actually, I need to set this up so I can easily bring on a guest. Ooh, quick top out for Morg. You two are welcome to run that back. I think that was under the 5-minute threshold. Up to you two. Okay, choosing to exit. I say 5-minute threshold, but generally if a match is short, I allow the players to continue or play again. If we have any early top outs or anything like that. Because a lot of players, the best players in the world, will early top out. All right, GG. Nice showing from MWD there, taking on the regular Coffee and Tetris. Well played. I don't know if Aken is ready. And by the way, feel free if you are waiting for a match. I know we have a lot of people hanging out here on the Discord chat. You're welcome to play some friendlies while you're waiting, or if you want to warm up before, if you're anxious about it before getting on stream or anything like that, feel free to create your own lobbies and play. All right, are you ready yet, Aken? Let's see. If not, we have Commodore Friday and Grass Pelt we could play first. Grass Pelt and Commodore Friday, are you doing any fun settings? I know Grass Pelt likes to do that. And that goes for anybody. If you want to change up the custom settings, mix it up a little bit, just let us know. Or let me know. Rhythm saying in Discord. The zone mechanic 100% makes it so that my strategy of rushing Tetris, if possible, as fast as possible, more effective. Yeah, so there's a counter to that, right? The nice thing about being proactive, sending attacks quicker, is you're charging your zone meter, right? And charging your zone meter means you're going to have extra attack power if you use it, because you get attack bonuses per lines cleared during the zone, right? So you don't want to sit on it too long, unless you're trying to go for a big counterattack. If you want to like accept your opponent's zone a little bit, clear some of that, then send your zone, which a lot of players do as well. But yeah, that's why speed is also a good skill to have in zone battle, just because you can clear more Tetrises, get your zone meter quicker, use it more defensively. Even if you're less efficient, you always have the, I like to call it zone insurance, where you can use it defensively and get out of most situations, right? So speed is important. If you just want to, part of the meta game, I think up until a certain point, unless you're an absolute Tetris demon, is just to play fast, get Tetrises, get that zone meter, charge right away, so you can get into that second phase with a little bit of a zone advantage where the garbage is messier. Because up until 20,000 points are scored. Oh, there we go. So we got Aken versus Ocller here. What was I saying? Yeah, prior to either player scoring 20,000 points, you're going to hear a ding at 20,000 points, then another ding at 60,000 points. That means you're entering a new phase, and the music might get more intense with that. Or it will get more intense with that. Yeah, it's good to just charge that zone, get a zone advantage going into the phase where the garbage is messier, because it's going to be a little more risky to accept your opponent's attacks and counterattack. All right, Ocller with that T-spin single into the Tetris well, utilizing what's called a 5-4 well with that center well. Really nice freestyle well for setting up T-spins. I personally, I think my highest Ultra score on Tetris Spect is using 5-4. I don't think it's the most optimal. It can be prone to wasting T pieces, unless you're very capable of setting up donations, stuff like that. But intuitively, it can feel nice. There's a lot of flexibility in how you stack. Generally, we'll see more 6-3 stacking, which is also very fast because of how piece movement works. And Ocller putting on a lot of pressure there. You know, with that 72 attack power, that is nothing to... Ocller is not a slouch when it comes to attacking. Ooh, little line spin there for Ocller. Meanwhile, Aken here on the left. We know it's Aken because there is a 2-piece preview. Getting a little down stack into this Tetris well. Very nice down stack, actually. Opts to extend the combo. Oh, needs to use a zone and is not able to use it. Let's run it back. I believe Aken is playing on playing in PSVR 2, if I'm not mistaken. Has the VR set up. Yeah, Ocller, you're welcome to do another match there if you would like, as it was fairly short. All right. Oh, what is this setup from Ocller? I remember practicing it. Is that Gamma Shiro? Am I wrong on that? It's one of the weird T-spin triple into double setups. Or was that a single? I don't even know what that is. I don't know all the fancy names, but I know that can end in a perfect clear. So Ocller is kind of doing a little bit of what I was mentioning earlier, kind of focusing on efficiency over speed. And it seems to be paying off. Despite maybe not getting zone charge as quickly. Ocller has a great sense for setting up T-spins, which is putting a lot of pressure on Aken here. Alright, Aken blocking with that T-spin double. Going to need to use zone again. I'm not opting to use that zone. And is going to top out there. And just my 2 cents, don't be afraid to zone too early. You're likely going to get that zone meter charged up again if your opponent decides to go into their zone. Better safe than sorry. But I think they're deciding if they want to play again. Any tips for playing Ultra? We can call it there. Let's see. Perhaps I think Aken is struggling with the PlayStation setup there. But GG's. But Ocller showing off the T-spin triple double tech there, putting a lot of pressure on Aken. Any tips for playing Ultra, though? I think there's a lot of ways you can approach it. I generally, if you're starting out, you know, set your expectations lower. Maybe work on your Tetris stacking, then you can progress your tech. I would not be too intimidated with how you approach it to start, right? So, for example, yeah, once you get to a point where it's like, my Tetrising, I mastered it, what can I do next? You want to mix some T-spins, you can start doing 7-2 wells, where you set up Z pieces and S pieces against the side in order to create T-spins. Also, just a tip is just to have fun and see what sticks, what you want to learn, stuff like that. If you're like, oh, that strategy looks cool, how can I employ that in Ultra? Obviously, there's going to be better strategies. For example, in Ultra, the soft drop. If you stay pretty low on the board when you're going for a lot of T-spins, that means you have to soft drop more often. Whereas some players like to build up a little bit. First, if they even just speed up with a 6-3, they can do their T-spin drops much more quickly, excuse me. I think the top scorer right now from Siake Gohan utilizes some kind of T-spin PC loop but that requires very fast execution, and I would not recommend starting there. All right, Grass Pelt, Commodore Friday. I think we're just going to play... Oh, Grass Pelt has buff +1 on. Interesting, okay. Or no thanks, okay. All right. So this should be standard here. See how much it sends. Okay, yeah, standard. But yeah, for Ultra Mode, really anything goes. Obviously, there's going to be more optimal strategies, but the most optimal strategies take a lot of experience to kind of wrap your head around. So I would just recommend setting your own goals, and then when you want to really improve, maybe watch other players, stuff like that, or just ask in the Discord. But T-spins are the answer for Ultra Mode. All right, so Grass Pelt going to execute that zone. A little bit high on the board, but that's totally fine. Although that misdrop might have something to say about that. Grass Pelt's really competent with IRS, as we see, so making use of IRS to avoid ending that zone early. Commodore Friday is still sitting on that max zone, but is lower on the board. Going to accept some attacks here, possibly, just to get the most out of this zone. This is a great board height to start your zone at. I totally recommend not starting your zone at the bottom unless you have the speed of a Tetris god. Even then, like, I think top Tetris players know, like, if they can't accept clean garbage, they're going to do it. So unless they're going to go for a perfect clear loop or something like that, where they want to play from the bottom. The forbidden arts of Tetris, the dark arts. Actually, I think the dark arts are the 4-wide combo. Tends to be considered the dark arts. Okay. Commodore Friday putting on a lot of pressure. Grass Pelt has fine, very nice. Using that Z piece to create that T-spin triple overhang. Does get a quarter zone, so Grass Pelt can survive this. Some creative play there. All right, Commodore Friday putting on a lot of pressure there. Pretty even numbers. I think Grass Pelt definitely suffering from some of the misdrops there, especially the one we had during zone earlier. We got a perfect clear opener. I don't see the perfect clear. So I'm going to turn that into a T-spin, which is totally fine. We already have a... So the chance of the well changing before 20,000 points is scored by either player is pretty low. So the fact that Grass Pelt had it changed on them right away is unfortunate. But so Grass Pelt's going to want to transfer to the well on column 9 here, and it's working towards that. Does so with the Tetris, very nice. All right, that was a nice, even though it wasn't, you know, flashy Ultimatris or 20 lines cleared or anything like that, Grass Pelt had a pretty efficient 16-line clear there, sent towards Commodore Friday, and already has that quarter zone, so should be able to deal with, ooh, that was probably a little bit of a jump scare for Grass Pelt. Able to tank that, though, and able to use that against Commodore Friday here. So this is going to be a very healthy, I believe that was a half zone. And as the game progresses, that zone meter is going to deplete quickly. So Grass Pelt doing a good job going through that clean garbage that was sent from Commodore Friday, who's building some T-spins here. It's a pretty even matchup. Commodore Friday's leaning a little bit more towards just standard Tetris play, which is totally good. Ooh! You know, here's one thing about the standard Tetris play is you're going to be stacked up a little bit higher, right? Or so if you go for T-spins, that means generally your board's going to be lower if you're upstacking less for Tetrises. So when you try to set up for a big combo, you have less room to tank attacks, right? It's one thing to consider. We saw it in action there as Grass Pelt put on some pressure. Commodore Friday was in a good position. I think that just caught them off guard, the chain of attacks there. So we're on our decider point. And Grass Pelt, the first to zone here. Commodore Friday has a high Tetris wall set up here. It's going to kind of force... Ooh, very nice down stack. Force their way through kind of a tricky combo there. Deciding how to best approach this. Does have that square piece. Tanks a little bit. And Grass Pelt barely getting the most of it, but hey, look at that. Commodore Friday has a Tetris waiting for them. Moves their well towards that open Tetris. So one thing, if you are the slower player, I don't think Commodore Friday is too much slower here, but just as food for thought, or my 2 cents. If you are the slower player, definitely try to continually downstack and work your way towards those clean wells. And if you can, do it with efficiency. Mix in a Tetris here or there, or try to T-spin your way towards that open well. That comes with a lot of practice. And utilize their speed against them by just continually counterattacking. And on top of that counterattack, just add your own attack power. So aka T-spin into that downstack. Like even here, we got a nice little downstack combo from Commodore Friday. That's a what? That could have been an 8 combo, but Commodore Friday decides to set up for that T-spin, get the back-to-back going. Doesn't miss out the T-piece. But look at that. Very nice cleanup using that T-spin single. Still kind of working towards this. Not the cleanest. Meanwhile, Grass Pelt with a 17-line attack. So Commodore Friday tanks half of it. It's fairly clean. Able to get 2 Tetrises. Only 1 Tetris in the zone. Grass Pelt able to tank that. This is a great matchup. It seems like both players have pretty good knowledge of zone battle macro as well, right? Knowing when to accept and when to enter the zone. So very nice play from both players. All right. So we're almost at that phase 3 threshold. So we're about to hear a ding and the music is going to get more intense. Looks like Grass Pelt with this T-spin should take us into it. Ding! All right. Cue the bass line. So now the garbage is going to get very messy. Almost entirely messy. Sometimes you'll get lucky. You know, be like, oh, thank God that turned out to be a Tetris. But generally it's going to be... the garbage is going to change every single row so that you're going to have to create downstack combos and continually build Tetrises or move your column left and right in order to actually get your way down that board. And as we see from Commodore Friday, like that's a lot of pressure when you have that many rows of garbage that are interchanging. You have to know how, really at that point, you have to be very precise on when to block attacks and when to counter attack. Because if you say you tank 2 attacks and you're like, oh, my board is all the way up, but hey, I got 2 attacks ready for you. I'm going to send you all the way up too. And it's a game of chicken and a game of balance. It gets very, very difficult at that point forward. You're going to have a lot of experience to get into a late game phase 3. But nice game, you two. Nice job, Grass Pelt. I think that's a really good matchup. I would guess they are probably around the same area on the ladder. Alrighty. Alright, so up next we're going to have... I believe Toad and Vflyier. Toad and Vflyier. Vflyier might be, I don't want to say underrated. They're pretty high rated, but they play other Tetris games, so maybe they might be able to... We'll see. We'll find out. We'll determine if they're underrated for the rating here. So Toad might have their work cut out for him, but I know Toad is also a very strong player, so we'll see how this goes here. And it looks like both players are in here and ready to go. And when you're ready, I'm ready. Good luck, have fun. Welcome in, Matt. Hope you're doing well. Are you signed up to play yet, Matt? Alrighty. So we're hopping into it. Vflyier versus Toad. Good luck, have fun. Okay, sorry, I was looking at the community tournament channel ping. We've got a classic score attack event on Sunday. Be sure to tune in. Okay. So Toad was, I think, hit the first zone there. But yeah, like Toad is really proactive on this zone usage. So was able to get a full max zone before Vflyier even entered the first zone. So just kind of taking their shot and seeing what will stick in terms of attack power towards Vflyier. I like to be the one to zone first and put on, or kind of be the, how do I put it? Ooh, that's a huge zone from Toad with the 62 Ultimatris. Can Vflyier tank that? Ooh, doesn't use IRS there, and will top out. So Vflyier, yeah, this is kind of what I expect from Vflyier. Probably lower speed, but higher APM. I know Vflyier is what I referred to earlier as plonking, kind of lower speed, matching your speed with your efficiency. So generally a plonker, you'll see like 100 or something like that. 100 attack power, 100 speed. I think for the majority of players, you're not going to match that. It's going to be that your speed is a bit higher than your efficiency, right? But it just goes to show, like, they value efficient gameplay and are less so of a speed demon. And I love to see the clash of the two play styles. So Toad once again entering that zone first. Entering zone first is nice, since it allows you to get that next zone charged. However, it's not the only way to play, and we have top players that have the school of thought like, hey, I'm not going to zone first. I would rather take this time to utilize my efficiency because I'll be having no attacks sent my way during zone, right? Because it freezes attacks from the opponent. I'm going to use my knowledge to pattern stack, create as many T-spins as possible, then tank the incoming attack, then zone for a huge counter zone, right? Then if that's the case, Toad will already have some zone charge, and the cycle continues. Toad will be like, oh, do I have to tank this attack? And do I need to use my now accrued half zone? So generally, if you're both not waiting for max zone, or if you have a player that will zone first, it'll be continual back and forth, and sometimes you'll get into fun, like, quarter zone skirmishes because of that, right? All right, so nice stacking here from Toad. The continual T-spin setups. Ooh, using IRS to get that long bar over the big 51. So it looks like Toad has the advantage when it comes to zone combos, especially with that IRS knowledge. IRS being the initial rotation system. If you hold rotate before the piece spawns in, the piece will spawn in already rotated. So nice use of thinking ahead. Vflyier with a nice counterattack there, though. And we are in phase 3, so that quarter zone is going to go quick. Only able to get 8 attack during that quarter zone. Now, phase 3 usually benefits players like Vflyier. I say that, of course, as a someone that can get high power zones. Of course, you can make use of that in phase 3. However, efficiency is super important with the lack of being able to counterattack the opponent's wells, right? Because, you know, on earlier phases of the game, you're going to be getting sent straight Tetris wells where you can just throw a long bar down there to quickly counterattack. But look how messy this garbage is. Ooh. So it's going to be battle of efficiency. Sometimes speed demon players are going to transfer into setting up more T-spins in this phase for that reason. Because you have to be able to counterattack and or block attacks. Dude, that's a nice down stack here for Toad with a 6 combo. Decides to build that Tetris wheel on that column 3. Poised to send a big attack here now. Max zone. We can see the garbage queue next to that zone meter. That's how many lines are going to be sent to Toad, or in queue to be sent to Toad. So Toad blocked that about 7 rows of garbage and sent a huge, massive attack after blocking that into Vflyier's queue. Vflyier can accept these next 3 lines because they're kind of split up. And unfortunately, it doesn't really have the best piece queue to downstack that. And it's going to top out. GG. That's a good matchup. A nice, very different gameplay from both players. But Toad getting some massive zones and utilizing that speed. So very nice. And Vflyier, thanks for participating. Happy to have you here. Showing off that efficiency. Well played. That was crazy GG's, y'all. Vflyier saying the rust is real. Yeah. Can have a lot of misdrops when you haven't played in a while, and or misjudgments on how to stack. But yeah, I know Vflyier is a very capable player, so nicely done, Toad. All right, Knighting and Call Me Star. Ooh, that's a good matchup. When you two are ready, I am ready. Knighting, our humanity top dog. Knighting is a very capable Tetris player, but I'm a huge humanity fan and player. I always think of Knighting now as the top dog of humanity, hitting that top rank. Okay. So Knighting in Call Me Star. No, Call Me Star has so Call Me Star is a very active live streamer of the game. I believe was hosting some event earlier in the week. Is it hosting some kind of zone battle tournament? Feel free to share in the chat. Call Me Star if you're here. Say a word or two and be sure to follow Call Me Star. Oh, is Tetra... Yeah, that's right. Tetra Boys Zone Battle Tournament. Which, by the way, if you are looking to play in tournaments, which is a great way to practice for Tetris, or if you're looking to claim some claim some fame, go for the big wins. We have a community tournament channel in the Discord, and there's a role you can select when you're onboarded in the Discord, or you head to the Get Roles channel. Or there's even like a channel and roles thing built into Discord now, where you can select that tournament update role if you want to play in all of the latest community tournaments. Yeah, they rated me, but I didn't get the results. I remember I was asking. Yeah, who won that tournament? I need to take a look at that bracket. Is Call Me Star here? Oh, very nice. Did you play Knighting? Knighting, what's your Tetris journey looking like recently? Have you been practicing a lot? Any game modes that you've been leaning into? Mostly chilling. Same. I am not sure if Call Me Star is here. If Call Me Star is not here, I know Tazago needs a match. Let's see, what's our next matches here? We also have Pac-Man versus Nathan, if we want to wait. Oh, mid-ring match? Very likely. Oh, hot off the press. Looks like Tazago just shared Zone Cup 3 tournament that Tazago is hosting in the community tournament channel on our Discord, so be sure to sign up for that if you're looking to, you know, the more people that sign up for these community tournaments, the better matches you're going to have if there's more casual players, right? I know we have a lot of our top dogs that sign up for these tournaments, but do not be shy. That's Zone Cup 3. Open to all players. Yeah, we can do the next match on the list if we're waiting for Call Me Star here. I believe Nathan and Pac-Man, if you two are ready, we can ping them in that channel as well, Ferox. Make your way to the lobby. It looks like Nathan is in here, and then Pac-Man is ready to play. Hop on in the lobby. Yes, that is a piano behind me, yes. A little Juno keyboard. Juno DS. Yeah, I don't really share my music anymore, but it's a distressor for me. I like to I'm a noodler. I like to noodle around, make up my own music. Noodle is the word for it. All right, looks like Nathan. Yeah, Nathan is in here. And Pac-Man is on the way. Great. Good stuff. I am horrible at guitar policy. I've tried a few times. My brother went to college for guitar, so it's like I'll let you do that. I'll do my piano thing. And when I say horrible, I can't play Mary Had a Little Lamb, Kumbaya. I just can't do it. A mix of lack of interest and just I don't know what it is. It didn't click for me. I'm more interested in drums. I'm not that good at drums, but the rhythm of it. But yeah, it's just a de-stressor for me. I'm not there to like how do I put this? I don't necessarily want to, you know, make it big or anything. Music's just a de-stressor for me. How'd I learn to play piano? Oh, we're in a piano stream now. Yeah, I had training growing up. I did recitals and the whole shebang up until high school. It is a good practice kind of thing. I've lived a life of practice in gaming and music. And sports. I've always been competitive, so. Yeah, enough about me, though. Never signed up for a tournament and don't know if I'm good enough. Hey, that's a good way to check. It's a good skill check. Feel free to sign up. And like I was saying, the more casual players that sign up, the better. That's what makes TECWC so nice, is we have a massive sign up and huge bronze brackets and stuff like that, right? So the best way to get the best matchups is to support it and sign up. All right, looks like our match is ready. I believe we have Nathan versus Pac-Man. Good luck, have fun, you too. Pac-Man joining our community showcase for the first time, I want to say like 3 weeks ago. Has been hooked ever since. And Nathan on the left, who's also been a regular of our community events as of late. Love to see it. Going for that 0-9 well, and look at that. That garbage, that's like the best feeling in the world. It gives me chills. It literally gives me chills. When you're setting up a 0-9 and the opponent's attacks continue in the 0-9, and it's like the best feeling in the world. And unfortunately for Pac-Man, that means more attack power for Nathan. And Nathan able to put on a lot of pressure there. They are so fast. Yeah, we got some skilled players in here tonight. Pepper Chest, welcome in. Ooh, nice little finesse with that long bar there for Nathan to fix the stack. Pac-Man just needs to down stack here and utilize Nathan's attacks against him. Easier said than done. That's actually quite messy. Yeah, that's some messy garbage for phase 1 there. Let's run it back. You two should play again. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome to do one more round here, Pac-Man. Some wizard art. All right. Oh, I don't know if Pac-Man did want to play again. We'll give him a second to respawn. If not, we're gonna hop into our previously scheduled match, Knighting and once Call Me Star is back. Let's see, do we have any stragglers? Who else? We have Dairy. Is Dairy Fiend still around? We could get Dairy Fiend and or Coolmat a match here. And or Fenrirer. Looks like Pac-Man is down to play one more, Nathan, if you're down. You want to do... Might see some high gravity zone battle. It's always fun. And yeah, if you... If you're looking for a match, Ferox will help you in our matchmaking thread. If you're having trouble with the bot, just state your SR as well. All right, Nathan and Pac-Man. When you're ready, good luck, have fun. And yeah, we're just playing... Yeah, thank you, Nathan. We are just playing some friendlies. So I think Pac-Man will try a buff +1 this round. Even it up a little bit. All right. All right. So Pac-Man doing a good job keeping it nice and low here. Going to be able to work through this incoming attack. Now Pac-Man does have stronger attacks right now, just to accommodate. So sending a big attack towards Nathan. Nathan able to counter momentarily, but look, Nathan's in a little bit of trouble here. Not able to get to... Ooh. Yeah, kind of a tricky situation. Did have a quarter zone, but I think under a lot of pressure regardless there. So Pac-Man taking in game. You signed up for your first ever tournament. That's what I like to hear. Are these guys on controller or keyboard? I think we have a good mix. Generally, the nice thing about Tetris is there really isn't, especially for zone battle. You might be able to argue more for classic score attack. There really isn't a better control method. We have top players on controllers and keyboards, right? I think the two back and forth. So we have Jaden and Siaka Gohan going back and forth on the sprint world record for when it comes to clearing 40 lines the fastest, right? And one player is using a hitbox, which I guess is more, it's like an arcade keyboard, and the other is using I believe a DualShock equivalent type of controller, right? So any control is allowed in zone battle, as long as it's not like a macro or something like that. And more so, there isn't really an advantage, which is awesome. Very convenient for us. Ooh, Pac-Man under some pressure. Nathan taking that game. Nathan with a very nice 38 attack there. Definitely stepping it up. Yeah, I personally like playing with a keyboard. I also like playing with a controller. I think on controller I just tend to play a little bit slower and more efficient. Because I'm not quite as quick. I've played mostly on a keyboard. I prefer a controller for classic Tetris or classic score attack. And I kind of like a controller for high gravity for whatever reason. Okay, so Nathan looking to get to that column 9. Pac-Man deciding to combo this down and also trying to just get... This is like a good school of thought from both players. Definitely just try to get to that free ammunition you have awaiting you, right? And chances are, look, those incoming attacks are coming down that same column early on, so it's really nice to build around that and create counterattacks around that open column based off of your incoming attacks or the attacks that the opponent sends to you to create those free Tetrises. The longer the game goes on, the messier the garbage is going to be, so definitely more of an opening strategy to continually build around those open columns up until 20,000 score is accrued by either player. Looks like Nathan's about to send it into that threshold with that T-spin. So now it's going to be a little bit harder to counterattack or accept attacks. You can still get lucky and get some clean wells here like we just saw Pac-Man get, but it did change columns there as we see, right? All right, nice Tetris from Pac-Man. Gets another long bar. It's going to want to transfer into that column 4. Doing some really efficient well transferring here. And no, Jason managed to get zone first. We'll see when Jason decides. Jason being Pac-Man, excuse me. We'll see when they decide to enter zone. All right. I'm not going to get too many line clears during zone, but going to be able to block Nathan's incoming attack. And Pac-Man does have a pretty good board to counterattack here. There's the first Tetris. Makes it clear, gets another Tetris, so making the way down the board. Hopefully he can get down to the bottom by the time Nathan clears their zone. Currently attacks are frozen while under zone, so this gives Pac-Man some time to build up their own zone, in addition to get the board down into a state where attacks can more easily be accepted. And look at that. Pac-Man's Tetrises did a good job of blocking that zone attack. So I would say it has the advantage, although it is getting a little hairy here. Gonna need to be careful. Not be afraid to enter zone earlier. If you wait too long to enter zone, you're gonna get into a situation where it's hard to actually get a line bonus because you're up so high on the board. I think that's a good time to enter zone, actually, so nicely done by Pac-Man. Setting up for that Tetris. Got 12 lines cleared. Ooh, putting a lot of pressure on Nathan. Can Nathan block this? Nathan does have full zone. It's also worth noting, the longer the game goes on, the quicker the zone meter will deplete. So because Nathan wasn't able to really accept that attack, you can see in the garbage queue that it's like a full board of attack because the line cuts off at the very top. It's a 19 line attack. So Nathan was kind of forced into entering zone there. Hey, we got a match on our hands here. That buff +1 making this a very even matchup. Pepper Chess asking, I'm newly back to Tetris. Played it when it came out on Game Boy and NES. How do these guys think so fast? It's amazing to watch. Well, hey, I see you have chess in your name, right? It is certainly a practice thing. I don't know if you ever play bullet chess or anything like that, but that comes just with recognition and stuff like that. I think it's actually quite similar to like practicing for chess and seeing similar patterns and being able to act quickly based on those patterns, right? You can kind of look ahead in your piece preview to know where you want to place your pieces and how you want to interact with them. And the more comfortable you get with like creating less piece dependencies, meaning creating even stacks and stuff like that, the more you can kind of autopilot and then think about the bigger picture, like what kind of strategy I should go for next. Should I enter a zone? Should I counterattack? Stuff like that, because your pattern stacking is going to be so on point. That was a good game. So we hit nearly 6 minutes on that round. Nathan able to get that final punch going into phase 3 against Pac-Man. GG, that was a great battle. Yeah, Tiva, we saw a Tiaka Gohan hand cam during Block Party. But, all right, so looks like we're going to do Knighting versus Tazago next. That's going to be a good match. Tazago's been on the grind and has definitely improved, but Knighting is always a dark horse when it comes to zone battle. If Knighting is bringing the A game, it's going to be an electric match, if I may say. Can you guys live up to the word electric? Will it be electric? Aurora is saying, I feel Nathan improved. That is true. I do think Nathan is improving. It can be subtle, right? Because we do this line on a weekly basis where I can sometimes take it for granted, but I'm sure if we bring up a community showcase from like a couple months ago, you can definitely see improvement, right, for some of these players. So glad you brought it to our attention. Yeah, awesome match, Nathan and Pac-Man. Good stuff. So just waiting on Tazago. I see Discord says that Tazago is playing Tetris Effect connected, so it should be a matter of time here. Apocalypse, you are Fenrirer in the Discord, right? We can maybe do you versus Fiend. That'd be the best match we can do. I think Fiend is a little favored, but we could also, if you want, do a buff +1 or something like we just did with Pac-Man. Unless you're up for the challenge. Oh, 25 speed, excuse me. Okay. Let's put that on. So we're going to change up the settings here in the friend match. We're going to have some fun with it. Players requested a high gravity match, and 25 is quite fast. 25 zone battle. We've done 20 zone battle. I don't know if we've really done much 25 zone battle on Community Showcase. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that should be interesting. And the interesting thing about this is because it's high gravity, that makes zone really important because zone will reset the gravity to 0. So it will allow you to stack more efficiently and like get out of many situations or fix up your board. So we're going to do that. When you two are ready, I'm ready. Good luck, have fun. Sorry, I had to leave the options. I was yapping. The options don't actually kick in unless you leave the options menu, I think. And into the void I go. So this should be interesting. And speedy. I know Pepper Chess was talking about the speed. These are two very fast players. And for fun, we're playing on instant gravity here. To the point, Tazago is actually going for a high gravity strategy. This is called ST stacking. In this case, it's ZT stacking. But propping up your S pieces against the side to create T-spins is a very popular strategy for, say, score attack, which is a gravity-based score versus mode. Also with level 25, yeah, that line clear delay is very quick. So typically there's a delay after you clear a line, right? Like it's nearly instantaneous for level 25. So this is going to be a speedy battle. Because of the high gravity, though, it can be harder to send attacks to your opponent more effectively. I think we've seen some experiments over in the past with comboing, like going for 4-wide combos, stuff like that. And or even just building up ST stacking like Tazago is here. Okay, got a good down stack here from Knighting. Very nice. Now Knighting has the pleasure of getting rid of that gravity here. I didn't catch how much attack was sent from Tazago, but looking like this is a pretty healthy zone from Knighting. Big 20-56 attack, and Tazago's under some pressure here because the pieces are locking in a bit quicker. 25 is quite a bit faster than, say, even 20. I think players might be more bound to misdrop. So some misdrops on Tazago's side, not allowing Tazago to easily access the wells to downstack and counterattack. Knighting takes game number 1. Team misplacement there for Tazago. Ooh, is that an all clear? That was an all clear. That's going to force Tazago to zone. Knighting unable to continue all clearing. This is still like kind of a Wild West setup because we don't really have any high gravity standard versus modes, like no ranked matchmaking, for example, for players to push in this kind of setting. So this is unoptimized, and I love it that it's unoptimized. Because in score attack, you just want to farm T-spins only. In Tetris is when you just have to bring the board down. However, in this, all clears and combos are a great option, unlike the score attack high gravity counterpart. So there isn't a meta game for this, let's say, because there is no matchmaking. But we'll see over time. The more of these that we do, we'll get a better grasp on how to best approach this variant, the high gravity zone battle. All right. So Tazago decides to zone at the very bottom of the board. If Tazago can manage to play quick enough, I think that's okay. Especially because you're so limited when it comes to pattern stacking during that 25 gravity. It kind of makes sense. Knighting with a massive zone, though. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Tazago not able to accept that nearly 20-line attack. Is going to want to be in a position to block. So far, so good. Does get a quarter zone. I think Knighting can... Or, I'm sorry, I think Tazago can probably survive this. It's going to be close. Knighting's doing a lot of pressure. Bringing a lot of pressure. Very nice down stack from Tazago. And Tazago almost has the full zone there. So really good defense from Tazago. Actually setting up for the 4-wide, which is a very viable. Oh, very nice fix on that stack with the with the S-spin. All right, here we go. This is an important combo. Does have to break it. Either way, it should allow Tazago to... Oh, man. Okay, Tazago's in the clear. Unfortunately, he had to break that combo. But it was enough attack power to block Knighting's attack. Ooh. Nice fixes from Tazago. While Knighting with this 7-2 and some misdrops, so going to have to just kind of work through that. Players are definitely more prone to misdropping in high gravity, which is kind of refreshing to see. Because our top players generally... I mean, we're going to have key misdrops and stuff like that, right? But players are usually good enough to the point where it looks robotic. And Tazago kind of trucking through that, being on the back foot most of that game, kind of held through until Knighting ran into a lot of misdrops there in Phase 3. Alrighty. I like Knighting's approach so far. Oh no, I missed what happened. I think Tazago, maybe some misdrops there in the center, stacking a little high. Having a high center for 25 gravity isn't a bad thing because it lets you get your pieces left and right. But I think it probably caught Tazago off guard there. And we will call it there because I know these high gravity matches can last forever if we run it back. But nice game. Thank you, too, for showcasing the 25 gravity zone battle. It's always fun to watch. Good games. Oh, Star. Call Me Star is back. Do we have a matchup for Call Me Star? We can do, yeah, let's do this Dairy Fiend match first. Do we have a matchup for Fenrirer, by the way, Ferox? We could always do Fenrirer versus one of these players in the current match as well. Oh, read DMs. Yeah, that looks good to me. Yeah, or versus, like, I think the players in that first matchup can play players from the second matchup as well, because Pac-Man had a lot of play time there. All right. Alrighty. So up next, who is up next? Dairy Fiend and Rum. We'll go with Rum. You are up. Okay, yeah. If that's the case, Tivo, you can always hop in as well. But we also have Fenrirer waiting, who can play this player as well, I think. Restore default settings here. I think we have enough players. So queue is probably closed at this point, unless you've already signed up. TiVo rooting for their friend Dairy Fiend. Love to see it. How come you guys don't root for me when I have to play players? What's up with that? I'm just kidding. I have a massive fan base, of course. Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, I misclicked. Why is that scene here? A one-bow jump scare. It happens every time. I meant to click on my other monitor. I love it. I don't want to get rid of that scene now just for the one-bow jump scare. Every once in a while, I'm going to misclick it. Why do I still have this? I should have got rid of it. Should I bring it up? All right. Well, looks like our players are getting ready here. Dairy Fiend. And when you two are ready, I'm ready. Good luck, have fun. Let's do this. Carbuncle. Lead character in Puyo Puyo Tetris. All right. Heart emojis all around. Love to see it. That's some good sportsmanship. That's some Dylan Brooks and Draymond Green level of sportsmanship, everybody. For all you NBA fans out there. All right, so... yeah, we got the, oh man, Carbuncle under some pressure there. It's some misdrops. We'll run it back here, though. They're hiding their power level. They're about to destroy here. Let's see. All right, Got a nice clean 0-9 open this time around from Carbuncle. That Tetris well open for business. Very nice. Finding their way into that center well. Meanwhile, Dairy Fiend deciding whether they wanted to down stack or get that Tetris first. I think that was the right call. Good for that Tetris. All right, so Dairy Fiend with that Ocler. Carbuncle only has about, is that 4 lines in the queue? So you can see that queue building up, but I think Carbuncle already being at the 12 lines here and getting some T-spins and Tetrises should be more than okay to counter this. Yeah, look at that big attack going into Dairy Fiend. Dairy Fiend has his half zone. Oh, accepts a little bit too much out of that that garbage queue. So Carbuncle coming back strong. Despite that, all the misdrops in game number 1 there. Off to the decider point. Players opting for that 0-9. Love to see it. Ooh. But a little risky there from Carbuncle to extend that. But it makes for a better back-to-back, so fortunately for Carbuncle, able to get some back-to-back Tetris bonuses in. Dairy Fiend first the zone here. A little bit of a misdrop. Nice fix with that L spin. Carbuncle putting on the pressure, and that'll do it. A little back and forth. Had a nice round 2 in there. But Carbuncle with some pretty killer stats there. Maybe punching above weight. So some nice counterattacking, excuse me, and setting up T-spins, etc. to punch back there. So GG you two. And if we have, we might have some stragglers where we might need one of you to play again. I will let you know in the Discord as we finish up here. GG. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Hit the mute button in time. Okay, so I think up next we're going to have Fenrirer versus Pac-Man. I think Pac-Man might be the better player. Fenrirer, if you did want to use a buff +1, you are welcome to. Unless you want to try to challenge yourself, that is also an option. All right. And yeah, when you two are ready, I'm ready. Good luck, have fun. Room is almost full, yeah. Got some spectators in here. As long as you don't leave at the worst time, which is when the match starts, and break my lobby, I'm usually okay. I'm not going to enforce it unless you guys kill my lobby. All right. So we're hopping into it. Fenrirer versus Pac-Man. I believe Fenrirer is Apocalypse in our Twitch chat, so good luck, have fun. Welcome in, Potato 2017. How 2017 potatoes were. That was a good crop of potatoes, was it not? Looks like we're, well, here we go. Kind of what I was saying. There we go, we're loading in. All right, Fenrirer versus Pac-Man. Looks like Fenrirer is stacking for Tetrises on the left side here. All right, able to get that triple. Not the best, kind of some unfortunate early garbage sent Fenrir's way, so hopefully Fenrir will be able to counterattack here. There we go. Nice Tetris from Fenrirer. And doing a good job down stacking. So Fenrir is definitely going to want to make that way to column number 8. It is most likely that attacks from Jason, aka Pac-Man, are going to continue to build in that column, as we see happening right now. So the sooner that Fenrir can make it there, the better. Might need to utilize zone just to survive here. Ooh. Okay. I think zoned a hair too late there, unfortunately. And no long bar to boot. So Pac-Man going to take game number 1. Good defensive play there from Fenrirer up until a point. I think it just had a tricky sequence of S and Z pieces to stack. Then after this, I think we have one more match in the queue, right? I believe it's going to be Coolmat versus MWD, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. And then we could do Call Me Star versus Ferox to be our last match. I think that will be good on time. Oh, sorry. Probably buffering the stream slightly there. Okay. All right, Fenrirer does get that long bar, much needed. Might be able to skate by here. Hopefully can get a nice down stack. So far so good, actually. Nice use of the hold Q there. Ooh, yeah, extending that combo with hold. And there we go, a double Tetris. Very nicely done by Fenrirer there to stay alive. Yeah, dude, a great job utilizing that hold Q to kind of perceive how this combo should continue. Wait, does Fenrirer know this? You can actually kick that J piece in. I would have been very impressed. I think newer players might have seen like top players do that, but the matter of execution as well. It looks like it fits. You had the right idea, Fenrirer. All right, can Fenrirer block this attack? It's going to be close. If we can get a nice downstack combo here. All right, yeah, only 3 incoming lines, so should be good to continue. Yeah, Coolmat and Mikey, aka MWD, you're on deck here. I think that means we should have gotten everyone a match in queue, which is great. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Alright, so Fenrirer under pressure here from Pac-Man. Ooh, he uses it a little too late there. And yeah, Pac-Man putting on pressure. But that was a really good matchup. Yeah, look at those stats. Pac-Man just inching out Fenrirer a little bit on the attack power. And GG. Hopefully that was some good practice for the tournament you signed up for. So, yeah, everyone should be, if you're looking for some more zone battle practice, be sure to sign up for the Zone Cup 3. That was recently announced in our Discord. Check out the community tournaments channel to sign up. The more casual, I don't want to say casual, but the more new competitive players that sign up, the better matches you'll get in that tournament. So be sure to do so. Okay, so up next we're going to do Coolmat versus Mikey, aka MWD, I believe. Yeah, that was a really nice second match. He had some good downstack combos in there for sure. All right, when you two are ready, I'm ready. Good luck, have fun. And then call me Star and Ferox. Don't get lost in a ranked match. Be ready to play. Yes. Is that how you interpreted that, Star? Very apt interpretation there. Run the showcase in ranked. We could probably make that happen. But knowing that Tazago is watching as a seasoned sniper, it might be difficult. Ooh, Matt. Taking some... I want to say greedy. Maybe just caught off guard by that attack chain from MWD there. On to round 2. Oh, Matt opening with the perfect clear, and we do have it. The Tetris perfect clear. Almost topping out MWD there. That was so close. Almost got the sneaky win. Alright, so MWD going for that 0-9, stacking Tetrises on the left. What do you guys prefer in chat? Stacking Tetrises on the left or the right? That's like being left or right-handed. You know what? In games, I used to sprint in games with my Tetris wheel on the left. In games that I could play faster, like Tetris Friends, for example. RAP Tetris Friends. But in games that are slower, I tend to stack on the right. I don't know why I ever did that or why that's the case, but... So I am ambidextrous when it comes to Tetris wheels on left or right side as a preference. Yeah. Shout out to Blink as well, the founder and leader of Hard Drop, the older. I don't want to say older. It is still active, but used to be the go-to Tetris community. It sounds like a jab at Blink, which it is not meant to be. Blink has done more than enough for the Tetris community. Yeah, 8-2 stacking, or 8-2 sprinting used to be a way to go, or seen as a very strong way to stack before 6-3 took over. I also like the 8-2 pattern, or 8-2 pattern. All right, Matt with a counter attack there, putting on a lot of attack power, even managing that S grade there, very nice. Hopping into the decider point. Yeah, MWD had that missing, or had a row of cheese there, but a quick triple and back into this 6-3 stack, transferring that 6-3 stack into a 0-9. It looks like probably their comfort zone. It's very nice. Yeah, when you play low to your board like MWD is doing, you can easily transfer your well to accommodate the incoming attacks from Matt here, for example. Now MWD is going to want to make their way to column 9, knowing that the garbage will be coming in there. So really nice transfers. And the more experienced you are, the more you can mix in T-spin play into your well transfers. So for example, MWD could have gone for what is called a C-spin over that open well, just to throw some extra firepower. That comes with a lot of practice and pattern recognition, is being able to efficiently transfer your wells, mix in T-spins while you make your way to the open wells to downstack and create more attack power for yourself. First things first, though, just yeah, definitely practice the transfer of wells. So good macro play from MWD here. While Matt is kind of the aggressor in this scenario, has mostly been on the attack front. As we see, hasn't accepted too much garbage. So MWD doing a great job just counterattacking. This is a good example of, you know, if your opponent is the aggressor sending more attacks, you definitely can make your way. You can continue to be a threat in the match without being the primary attacker. This is a very well-known player in the community. Doesn't play so much TEC. Is actually quite good at TEC. QMK. It's kind of a legend and older player in the community that is known to make their way competitively without being the most efficient player. They are an efficient player. Extremely efficient when it comes to playing defensively, actually. So you can make your way, you can build a playstyle based off of being reactive. That being said, that counterattacking is starting to pile up on Matt here. Might need a zone here. Decides to use a long bar first. Oh, doesn't use that zone, unfortunately. And NWD is good. But yeah, look, like Matt had the higher attack power and was setting a lot towards MWD, but MWD did a great job just transferring wells. And I think that's a good piece of advice for players that are new. You don't necessarily have to be the upstacker. Of course, if you have the choice, it's probably good to be the aggressor. You can kind of set the pace. But if you were not the aggressor, definitely take note there of like knowing how to well transfer, keeping it simple, going for Tetrises, taking like non-efficient trades, right? Just to get to that open well. So go for doubles and triples, singles, whatever it may be, just to get to that open well where the aggressor is attacking you. So that was really good play. But Matt, I see you. I see you creating the attacks, putting on the pressure. But yeah, good play from your opponent there. Okay, so last match of the day, we got Ferox versus Call Me Star. This should be a barn burner, if I may say. A pretty good matchup. So when you two are ready, make your way to the lobby. Oh, look at that. They're not in ranked queue. They are here. They are ready. And yeah, so it's our last match. I'll slightly close out here while we get this started. Be sure to join the Discord if you want to participate in community showcases in the future, which we have every Friday US time, Saturday morning Australian time, or Japan time, late evening in Europe. What else we got? If you are in Siberia, it's probably like the middle of the night for you. Ooh, some pressure from Call Me Star. I think on paper, Ferox is the faster player, but Call Me Star, everyone's been improving. Even if it's small improvements over time. Some on the grind a little bit more than others, but Call Me Star is definitely somebody, in my opinion, who has been improving drastically over, I want to say, the last year or so. So doing a great job. It's always been kind of I thought of, like, for example, Call Me Star does a great job of building curve trisses, playing powerful zones, and finding T-spin efficiency. And when that is your focus, when efficiency and strategy is your focus, speed comes with time. And I think Call Me Star has definitely got a little bit faster to back up that efficient gameplay. And same could be said for Ferox. I think Ferox has been a pretty speedy zone battle player always. Kind of an all-around great player. I think maybe it suffers a little bit from like similar issues I have suffered from. Like it can be hard to be super consistent, but if Ferox is on their A game, it is top tier. Okay, so we have a really quick phase 3 there, thanks to players netting a lot of T-spins, meaning more score, meaning it's going to be phase 3 real quick. A big Ultimate Triss 56 attack from Ferox, and Call Me Star counters with a 61 Ultimate Triss, sending a whopping 2 rows to Ferox, so we got a crazy matchup here. Alright, big Tetris. Kind of a subtle, being able to get, like, how do I put this? How do I easily explain this? Being able to get a board clear going into your down stack, so kind of Tetrising over your upcoming row that you want to make your way towards is optimal, and Ferox is doing a good job of that. Kind of T-spinning and Tetrising, like I was saying, while well transferring, which is quite important for phase 3, that you kind of make work of these this messy garbage or messy incoming attacks from your opponent over time while you still maintain efficiency. It's quite the balance, and it takes a lot of practice and requires a good understanding of zone battle macro play. So Ferox bringing the speed, bringing some pressure here against Call Me Star. Call Me Star fires back with a 6 combo to try to counterattack. And opposite, except a few of Ferox's lines there, so kind of playing a game of chicken, like, I'm going to try to force both of us up to the top of the board if you want to play that game. So both players accepting each other's attacks, meaning that we're going to have to, force some zone play here. Alright. A good 44 attack from Ferox. I think anything above 40 in phase 3 tends to be kind of the threshold you want to be at this player's tier, right? Not for everybody, but for these two players, that's kind of what you need. Ferox actually turns this into a 4-wide. I don't think Call Me Star can handle this pressure at all. Let's see. Sometimes you can get a lucky downset combo, but it was not in the cards there. Nice pressure from Ferox. And going for a 4-wide, if you're bored, sometimes it will just naturally, you'll see the formation and you just go for it. Building a 4-wide is a great tool to close out phase 3, especially when your opponent is in the zone, right? That means I can afford to stack up my board to the ceiling and try to make the most of this opportunity. 4-wide is also a nice comeback mechanic. Generally, it's not going to be as efficient as, say, like pattern stacking or LST, whatever it may be that you're going for. But because you have 20 empty lines, that means you're guaranteed some zone charge as well. So it's actually a pretty safe play to phase 3, knowing that you are likely to get another quarter zone, for example, and can continue to utilize that zone if necessary. Okay, so... Ooh, is this a curb? That was really, really close. Not quite. 56 Ultimate Triss from Ferox, which Call Me Star did a good job of blocking there. I'm going to just downstack through this. Even extends that combo by cutting the triple. So there was a triple opportunity with the J, but instead decides to extend the combo. So some good knowledge there from Call Me Star. Good discipline on downstacking. I think that was a misplacement on the L. So going to cut that zone, but still has some firepower behind it. Because that zone was ended earlier for Call Me Star, that means they have some Tetrises and T-spins waiting. All right, big attack here from Ferox. Call Me Star sets a Fractal, which is kind of like that stacked T-spin double that we saw. So able to fight back here. Ooh. Putting a lot of pressure on Ferox. Ferox does have that quarter zone, has to use it right away. You definitely want to use that zone before you get to the very top, or else that zone is not going to be useful at all. Definitely use it before you reach, I want to say, like 75%, 80% height. You don't want to really pass that threshold, so you can get the most of your zone attack and get at least some line clear bonus. Yeah, as we see, Ferox doing a good job. Even if you're at the very top of your board, you want to mix in T-spins, you want to mix in Tetrises, because if you only get like single line clears, your opponent's going to out-push your down-stacking abilities, so you have to mix in Tetrises and T-spins at this level. Ferox is doing a great job of that, despite being at the top of the board. An excellent job. Then opts for a double because there's a good downstack combo, so you just kind of gauge the situation, gauge your upcoming pieces to decide when I want to downstack and when I want to continue to build efficiently in order to block and attack my opponent. Now, Call Me Star's at the top. I'm kind of doing the same thing. Yeah, mixing in this T-spin double does not get the most efficient downstack following that, but Ferox wanted to make sure to use that zone bonus and advantage that he has in order to put pressure on Call Me Star. Now, Call Me Star has just over half of the board in garbage queue. Ooh, that misdrop on the T piece is huge. That might spell disaster here for Call Me Star. We'll see if they can manage. That's going to be a negative. And Ferox will take it. GG. That's a good matchup. Yeah, both players did a great job of maintaining efficiency near the top of the board. We saw a little bit of a game of chicken on like accepting attacks and trying to pressure opponents rather than block attacks. So nicely played, you two. It's a classic matchup there. Would you guys say you're a classic matchup? It's a close matchup, at least. I don't know about classic. I don't know if you were in classic territory yet. GG's. Are you guys in classic territory? Let me know. Could you do a poll in chat? Is Ferox versus Call Me Star a classic matchup? All right, good games, everybody. That was a killer showcase, and right on overtime. We always go over by about 30 minutes, as to be expected. But glad we were able to get everybody in here tonight. And yeah, next week's showcase should be connected versus, so we're back to teams, which inherently is more cooperative unless you're the big bad boss. So be sure to stop by next week if you're interested in team play, and or if you want to be the big bad boss for boss play. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's usually my favorite showcase is teams. The most chill. You see a variety of gameplay based off boss attacks, etc. So stop by next week for that. It'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, join our Discord, discord.gg/enhance. Let everyone know how awesome our game is and how awesome our community is. Bring your friends. Invite them to play on our showcases. And I think that's it for me before I continue to yap. So We'll see if anybody is streaming. We'll do a raid here on Twitch. But everyone on YouTube, I see you, Matt, on YouTube, and Aurora. Bye. Have a good rest of your weekend. Tomorrow is our weekend ritual. No voice hangout, no scheduled voice hangout, but you're always welcome to hang out in our voice chat per usual and play the weekend ritual and connect versus etc. on the enhanced Discord. All right. So YouTube is going down. Bye, YouTube. See y'all. And if you're on Twitch, we're gonna raid somewhere. What do we got? Ooh, that is the wrong account. RIP YouTube. Yeah, happy to have you, Mikey. And yeah, feel free to stop by again next week. And that goes for anybody. We love having our repeat players. But always happy to have new people each and every week. Oh man, we usually even have our classic Tetris go too. Not too many Tetris streamers tonight. Let's see here. Who we got? You know what? Sorry to say we were going to raid. No raid here tonight. I usually like to raid at least somebody I'm familiar with, at least from the enhanced side of things. So, yes, everyone, enjoy your weekend. Be sure to stop by the Discord and hang out during your rituals tomorrow. And, yeah, hope you all have a good weekend. And we'll see you next Friday.